Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Church, and I'm the Vice President Academic here at the Mount. And I'd like to welcome you here for this most happy occasion. And I see there are lots of children here. I want to say at the beginning, we're very happy to have children at our graduations. We see them potentially future Mount students, but also just because it's have them come and see their parents and family members. So don't feel you need to rush your children out of here if they want to talk. So welcome, and please stay standing for God Save the Queen. Thank you. I'd like to invite Sister Evelyn Williams, Sister of Charity and a former board member, to come forward to deliver the invocation.
Please be seated. And so we begin by praying. O Holy One of mystery, known by many names, heard through many voices, we acknowledge your presence this day. With grateful hearts, we gather to celebrate the accomplishments of the graduates present here. As we call to mind the path that has brought them to this day, we remember the times of new beginnings, adjustments, struggle, happiness, and success. We bring all these memories to our celebration today, knowing their place in their journey towards fullness of life. We gratefully remember all those who have encouraged, taught, and nurtured them on this journey. Proud parents, grandparents, spouses, children, teachers, mentors, professors, and faithful friends. People whose love, encouragement, and support help deepen their faith in themselves and their commitment to their goals. Take them beyond the vision of this day. Be with them as they draw upon the wisdom and experience gained here, and continue to use their many gifts of intellect, heart, and soul to build a world of peace and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Evelyn. I'd like to invite our President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ramona Lumpkin, to come forward.
Chancellor-designate, Madam Board Chair, members of the Board of Governors, honorary degree recipient, distinguished guests, including the Honorable Myra Freeman, former Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia and a member of the Mounts Board, the Honorable Joanne Bernard, Minister of Community Services and Advisory Council on the Status of Women, and importantly, a Mount graduate, and family and friends of graduands, and especially today's graduands. And I do want to mention in particular that the 18th cohort of the Masters of Literacy Education from St. John's, Newfoundland is graduating today, and 19 of 23 of them have come over to be with us. So congratulations. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to Mount St. Vincent University's 2014 Convocation. At our two Convocation ceremonies today, we gather to celebrate the accomplishments of 450 of our students from 18 different countries. They have completed their required courses of study and now receive their certificates, diplomas, and degrees from 63 different programs. 51 students are graduating with distinction, and 1 student is graduating with first-class honors. We're very proud of today's graduands and congratulate you on the diligence and hard work that have brought you to this happy day. Today, we're also delighted to welcome our new Chancellor, Sister Joan O'Keefe, Congregational Leader of the Sisters of Charity, who will be installed officially as our 5th Chancellor at this morning's ceremony. Sister Joan holds a senior diploma and a Bachelor of Arts from the Mount and a Master of Arts in Teaching from St. Francis Xavier University. And I also want to give sincere thanks again to Sister Donna Gearnart for her service to the Mount in the role of Chancellor for the past 12 years. Thank you, Sister Donna. Also joining our students are 2 exceptional individuals who've distinguished themselves in their lives and careers. As they accept honorary degrees today, one at this morning's ceremony and one this afternoon, their commitment to education and leadership in their fields will serve as inspiration for our graduates. We're proud to share our fall convocation with 2 accomplished women, Elizabeth Cromwell, a celebrated social leader with a deep commitment to the preservation of Black history and culture in Nova Scotia, and Jan Zwicky, one of Canada's most respected artists and intellectuals, known equally for her original work in philosophy and her intensely lyrical poetry. We also today recognize one of our faculty members with the title Professor Emerita, a recognition conferred on individuals holding an academic appointment who've made a significant contribution to the university. Professor Wendy Doyle recently retired after 40 years of service at the Mount, will be honored at this afternoon's ceremony. As we celebrate these many achievements, I invite you to share your messages of congratulations, moments of pride, and expressions of inspiration via social media. The Mount is celebrating today's event on social media as well, and we invite you to join in our online celebration using the hashtag MSVU Convocation, for those of you who are tweet-friendly. At the Mount, we've always embraced online technology of various kinds, for example, as leaders in distance learning, and social media is one of our ways of connecting with the broader Mount community that extends beyond our physical domain. 2014 has been an exciting year for the Mount. I'm sure many of you have noticed the great progress that's been made in the construction of the Margaret Norrie McCain Center for Teaching, Learning, and Research, a building that will celebrate the role women have played in shaping our society. It's been exciting to see this newest building on campus take shape, particularly given the support awarded to and offered to by our students to the building throughout the fundraising campaign, Project 2012. Once complete, the center will provide our students with a learning environment that's contemporary, technology-rich, and interactive. And the atrium of the new building will be home to an inspiring women installation. Just outside the main entrance will be the Reva Spatz Women's Wall of Honor, honoring women in a garden-like setting. Once complete, this will be the only building in Canada dedicated to celebrating women and telling their stories. The benefits of the new center will be with our students for generations to come. And also, we do have a date that I want you to get in your early calendars for our grand opening. We will cut the ribbon and open the building May 29th, 2015. So we're looking forward to that happy day. Another item of note from this year was our largest increase in first-year enrollment in many years. This fall, we welcomed approximately 25% more new full-time first-year students than we did last fall. And overall enrollment at the Mount increased by 1.5%. I believe that these increases are a tremendous testament to the widespread recognition of the value of a Mount education and the unique personalized educational experience we offer. And perhaps another reason more students are choosing to come to the Mount is our supportive and inclusive environment. This past year, the Mount continued to work closely with a number of communities in order to facilitate the post-secondary education of students who traditionally have been less likely to attend university. Our Aboriginal Student Center strives to empower, encourage, and educate all students of all nations in an environment rooted in Indigenous cultures and values. We just wrapped up Mi'kmaq History Month at the Mount with some wonderful learning and celebratory events led by our Aboriginal Student Center. From our flag-raising ceremony on Treaty Day at the start of October to open drum sessions and a Mi'kmaq feast to end the month, it was a wonderful campus-wide celebration of Indigenous cultures and community. While we know well the importance of celebration and community at the Mount, we also know that there's always a deeper understanding to be gained. Perhaps none take that more to heart at the Mount than our research community. Embracing ideas, inspiring action, creating connections, that's what Mount researchers do every day. Mount research is research that matters to society, to communities, to policymakers and advocates, to individuals, to families, to the world. This past year, Mount researchers, often with the help of student researchers, led initiatives that furthered our knowledge in the realms of food security, healthy aging, and women, gender, and social issues, just to name a few. And last month, the Government of Canada announced the appointment of a new Canada Research Chair at the Mount. Dr. Maya Eichler is Assistant Professor in the Department of Political Studies and Women's Studies and a Tier 2 Canada Research Chair in Social Innovation and Community Engagement. And we're delighted to welcome her to our research community and our teaching and learning community. Each day that I spend at the Mount confirms my sense of what an extraordinary university this is and how fortunate I am to be part of this community. I'm thrilled to see so many vibrant members of the Mount's family counted among today's graduands, athletes, volunteers, students' union members, and even some of our own staff members. It's a privilege to join you all in today's celebration. Graduands, I wish each of you the rich benefits that you've earned as a result of the hard work that you've put into your education over the past years and during your time as a Mount student. And I also trust that each of you will share the benefits of that education with the larger society as you go out to make your place in the next phase of your careers and your lives. You know firsthand the value of the support that you've received from family and friends, and the gift that has been given to you of learning from the Mount's faculty and staff. I'd like us to take a moment. I want to give you a moment to thank everyone who stood behind you and beside you, and many of whom are with you here today to help you reach this wonderful achievement. So if you could please stand for a moment and applaud those who are here helping you and have helped you. Thank you. That was a standing ovation for you guys, and well-deserved, I know. Finally, as we move on to our proceedings, I do just want to take one moment to acknowledge all those people who've worked so hard on today's ceremony. They've been all around you. You've seen the ushers and the staff of various jobs and persuasions who have been working flat out for the last several weeks and over the weekend and certainly here this morning to make everything work well for us. So I ask you finally to join me in a round of applause to thank all the Convocation volunteers.
Thank you, Dr. Lumpkin. I'd like to invite Deanne MacLeod, our board chair, to come forward to introduce our incoming Chancellor.
Madam President, the Honorable Myra Freeman, former Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia, the Honorable Joanne Bernard, Minister of Community Services, and responsible for Advisory Council on the Status of Women, members of the Board of Governors, honorary degree recipient, members of the university community, distinguished guests, graduands, family, and friends. One of the ways in which the Mount recognizes its founders and ensures that their values are carried forward is through the university charter that includes the appointment of 5 Sisters of Charity representatives to our Board of Governors and names the congregational leader of the Sisters of Charity as our Chancellor. Sister Joan O'Keefe was elected congregational leader of the Sisters of Charity in July. It is my pleasure today to welcome her as the new Chancellor of Mount St. Vincent University. Originally from Boston, Sister Joan O'Keefe has lived in Nova Scotia since she first became a sister in 1965. She earned a BA from the Mount in 1969, an MA in teaching from St. Francis Xavier, and a certificate from the Maritime School of Social Work. After teaching in Shad Bay, Herring Cove, Westfall, and Hebville, Sister Joan moved into parish work in Bridgewater, Liverpool, and Bedford. She was coordinator of the Single Parent Center, now the Shabakto Family Center, in Spryfield for 13 years, starting in 1989. In addition to initiating and facilitating a number of formal programs there, Sister Joan provided whatever support was required, everything from grant writing to helping parents prepare for job interviews. When she was elected to the Sisters of Charity leadership team for 2002 to 2008, Sister Joan missed the daily interactions with children, but was able to spend more time with the elder sisters, as well as supporting sisters in active ministry across Canada, in the eastern United States, Bermuda, the Dominican Republic, and Peru. In 2008, she started yet another career path, training as a volunteer doula to support birthing women. She considers it a privilege and a joy to be a part of the pregnancy, birth, and post-birth for these mothers. Sister Joan has been an active volunteer in every community she's lived in and is well known for standing with those who live in poverty. She's been involved with the Anti-Poverty Network, Metro Food Bank, Feed Nova Scotia, the Community Advocates Network, Metro Nonprofit Housing, Ward 5 Neighborhood Center, and the Out of the Cold Shelter, among others. She's also been involved in the Truth and Reconciliation efforts with Aboriginal peoples in Canada. She participated in the Truth and Reconciliation hearings and the Aboriginal National event that was held here in Halifax, and in the Returning to Spirits workshop last year. A natural networker, Sister Joan seeks collaboration with others wherever feasible to create better solutions and to increase the impact that their direct service or advocacy work can have. In representing the Sisters of Charity at the Single Parent Center, in the many volunteer board and committee positions she's held, and in many personal and private ways, Sister Joan has stood beside those in need. She's been recognized with a number of honors and awards, which she accepts only because they offer an opportunity to raise awareness of the needs of others. She was one of the first recipients of the Elizabeth Ann Seton Award from her own congregation, was one of 5 Rebels with a Cause recognized by the Elizabeth Fry Society, and was one of 27 included in the online publication Women Social Activists of Atlantic Canada. Sister Joan's greatest concern and passion is social justice, and she sees education as a key to justice for all. She's quoted in Women Social Activists as saying, "What motivates me most is that everyone deserves to have enough to live, not to survive, but to live. It's about people having a life. There's a lot of good in life. Let people experience that." It gives me great pleasure to present to you Sister Joan O'Keefe, a Sister of Charity, for investiture as Chancellor at Mount St. Vincent University.
Thank you.
Do you, Sister Joan O'Keefe, pledge yourself to perform the duties of Chancellor of Mount St. Vincent University, and do you promise to defend the rights and to promote the welfare of the university and the members thereof?
Yes, I will do this with the help of God.
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I duly install Sister Joan O'Keefe as Chancellor of Mount St. Vincent University with all the rights and responsibility pertaining to that office.
Thank you. Will it stay on?
Congratulations to our new Chancellor.
I just said, you can see I need a lot of help. This is really quite a very different setting to be in. And I just want to thank all of you for being here to witness it. It'll make me be better at it. I really think it's the day for those who are graduating. And I've always, even though I left the Mount a long time ago, have always welcomed students from the Mount to be at placements where I worked, because they gave me the energy and the life I needed to keep renewing the kind of work I do. So it's really a happy occasion to be here for you today, and for all those who support you, and for all who live in their lives as part of the Mount community. I wish you a lot of happiness, a lot of courage, and the strength to be who you need to be at home in yourself and at home wherever you are. Have a great celebration today.
Thank you. I'd like to now invite Judge Connie Sparks, who's an Mount alumna and also a member of the Mount Board, to come forward to present our honorary degree candidate for today, Elizabeth Ann Cromwell. And I'll ask Elizabeth to stand while Connie reads the invocation.
Madam Chancellor, Madam President, distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, family, and friends. It is my distinct honor to present to you Elizabeth Cromwell for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Elizabeth Cromwell has been known in the community for many years as the exemplification of outstanding personal and professional qualities which make her an exceptional candidate for this honor. Elizabeth Cromwell had a distinguished career as a social worker, focused primarily in the area of child protection. This facet of her professional life led to many to appreciate her strong ethics and dedication to helping children in need of care by the state. Often, she was called upon to deliver presentations to various professional groups, including members of the judiciary. Unquestionably, during those years, she had a sterling professional reputation for her dedication and industriousness. And as her career progressed, she received several awards and salutations. More recently, however, she received the National Volunteer Award, the Multicultural Volunteer of the Year Award, as well as the W.P. Oliver Award from the Black Cultural Center. Now, when many folks retire from professional life, they often spend the majority of their time engaged in mostly leisurely activities. But Elizabeth Cromwell took a different path. She became engrossed in the preservation of the history of the Black Loyalists, and thus became one of the original founders in the 1980s of the Shelburne County Cultural Awareness Society, which is now known as the Black Loyalist Heritage Society. And since that time, she has served as president, except for a short hiatus of 6 years. Above all else, This is a woman, a leader, of outstanding commitment, dedication, compassion, and humility. She has been described as a trailblazer and a tour de force because she is a visionary. And when a task needs to be completed, she not only stays the course, but she also brings forth her considerable persuasive powers. Undauntingly, if she is convinced of a just and noble cause, she presses forward with conviction. For example, when the Black Loyalist Heritage Society was faced with a resounding no regarding the financial feasibility of establishing a Black Loyalist edifice, she almost singularly transformed these negative responses to positive engagement. To her and many others, it was deeply important to recognize that in Nova Scotia, in 1783, the Black Loyalists established the largest settlement in North America of free blacks outside of Africa, and to honor their contributions to our beautiful province. Her perseverance was also demonstrated when the Society's office in 2006 was nearly destroyed by a dreadful fire. At the time, many valuable and priceless artifacts and documents were destroyed. While, of course, this served as a temporary setback for the Black Loyalist Society, at the same time, this sad episode in the history of the Society served to bolster Elizabeth Cromwell's resolve to continue the mission of the Black Loyalist Society. From my own observations over the years, Elizabeth Cromwell has demonstrated outstanding commitment to community values by hard work, leadership, transparency, and resolve. She respects history, especially the history of Black Loyalists, and she has promoted the inclusion of the Black Loyalists in the history annals of our province. One of her most enduring personal qualities, in my opinion, is her modesty, and often she works effectively behind the scenes. It is her leadership and dedication to the preservation of history which has led to the creation of the Black Loyalist Center, which will be completed this month, and so this recognition is timely. As the Mount has always had a long history of recognizing unsung heroes, in recognition of her tremendous contributions to the province of Nova Scotia, and more particularly, her dedication to the preservation of history and heightened awareness of the contribution of the Black Loyalists as original settlers in Nova Scotia, I ask you, Madam Chancellor, in the name of Mount St. Vincent University, to grant the degree of the Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa to Elizabeth Ann Cromwell.
Do I say it?
Say I make you.
Elizabeth, I admit you to the degree of Humane Letters honoris causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
I would like to invite Dr. Elizabeth Cromwell to come forward and to give her address to the graduates.
I told myself I wasn't going to be nervous today, and I wasn't going to break down. I am, Madam President, Madam Chancellor, governors of Mount St. Vincent, special guests, graduates, family and friends. And Connie, thank you so much for your kind words. I'm deeply honored to be here with you today on your very special day. And I owe a special word of gratitude to the governors and chancellors of the Mount for their generosity and their consideration in granting this and allowing me to share this special day with you. As I considered speaking with you today over what seemed at times a very long and anxious summer, one theme kept reoccurring in my thoughts, and it was one of people following their dreams, people who have visions, and the similarities in the process. As I recall, the history of the Mount, which began such a long time ago, started with a group of sisters, the Sisters of Charity, who wanted to develop a special place of outreach for needy individuals, as well as a place to train young sisters as teachers. Out of their early, humble beginnings, their mission grew to encompass all we see here today. Their mission of service has provided a legacy for Nova Scotia and Canada, which is outstanding in its role as an institution of learning. Through their ability to gain the attention of like-minded supporters, their mission continues to provide education and outreach, programs for those less fortunate individuals and their families. Their compassion, their commitment to the educational advancement of women is an ongoing legacy which continues to enact their founders' mission and their dream to the benefit of so many people. To think that the Sisters of Charity were so advanced in their thinking when today women are still struggling in some parts of the world for the right to pursue an education. We think of the determination and the courage of a young girl like Malala, who recently received the Nobel Peace Prize for her courage after being shot by grown men who were afraid of change. We are so fortunate to live in a country where education is a right and freedom is respected and safeguarded. We must work diligently to make sure that continues and remains so. For me, the mission, the vision, the dream was one of seeking recognition for those settling families of African heritage. It has shaped a great part of my life, and I have used every opportunity to advance that theme. My ancestors were with the largest group of free people of African heritage to migrate in 1783. They formed the largest community of free blacks outside of Africa at that time. Their quest for freedom came after the end of the Revolutionary War, when the British decided to fulfill their promise to protect those who had escaped and were formerly enslaved. And they fought with the British. Of course, the British lost that war. But 3,000 black loyalists, residents of the, or I should say not residents, but just owners, chattel of the people of the 13 colonies, were disbanded here in Nova Scotia as a British regiment, and many made their homes here. Those 3,000 people were uncertain of their future or their fate, but regardless of what the future held for them, they knew they could not return to their former conditions. They also had a burning desire or a dream to be free, to own land, to be respected as citizens, to build homes and plant gardens, to feed their families, all the normal activities that related to building a community at that time. You know I'm nervous when I can't turn a page. For me, my dream was to see those first African settlers recognized as other settlers, hardworking, faithful, strong people, marked by a way of life no one should have to endure. Even so, here in Nova Scotia, they continue to live in communities where racism existed and cast them into an almost invisible role on the outskirts of towns and communities of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Their history was seldom mentioned and never taught when I was a child in school. There was never a teacher who looked like me, and there were places in my town where I couldn't go. There were sort of unwritten laws spread by word of mouth. It seemed our history was totally, intentionally ignored and thought to be unimportant, but that migration was an important part of Canada's history. The story of those earlier days is sometimes hard to read or to understand. The Black Loyalists didn't give up. They did whatever was necessary and required to survive. And out of that history, there are some amazing life stories of commitment and bravery. Over time, I believe with determination, they began to look to the future, to plan and to dream for better times for their children. Perhaps memory began to resurface after years of degradation. It was Maya Angelou who said, "No man can know where he is going unless he knows exactly where he has been and exactly how he arrived at his present place." Nova Scotia has been actively involved in trying to right some of these earlier injustices. The development of educational programs has opened doors. The recognition by communities of very special work done by members of the Black community has instilled a sense of pride and confidence for the future. Support of entrepreneurs and small business is ongoing. Events like the resolution of the Africville issue, the settling of the case of the former residents of the Nova Scotia Home for Colored Children have, I believe, given a wider community a more realistic view of how life was in Nova Scotia for some people. In Nova Scotia, the building of the Black Loyalist Heritage Center is meant to showcase our earlier history and encourage others to share their family's journey to freedom. I applaud the support of the Nova Scotia Museum in spearheading the decision to celebrate all settling groups in Nova Scotia. We all know that we must be vigilant and to continue to grow diversity in a positive and respectful way. In Birchtown, since September, and I digress a bit, we are building a center to showcase the lifestyle and to speak about freedom and respect for people. In the last 2 months, we've had 3 acts of vandalism. And I question why vandalism is continuing to happen to a center that is called the Black Loyalist Heritage Center when it doesn't happen to other museums. But we have to be vigilant because in our communities there are people who are negative. And we have to be vigilant in terms of how you, the graduates, are teachers, how you interpret what goes on in community, how you use these moments as teaching moments for your pupils, that you allow them to debate and to think and to look at the rights and try to correct things that are wrong. So for you, the graduates of education, we applaud your success. Your dreams and future careers have come together today after years of hard work and dedication to study. A famous quote by Nelson Mandela is that education is the most wonderful and powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Your role in the community will be one of leadership. You will be considered a leader in whatever country or community you live, because you are a teacher, an instructor, an educator. You have knowledge. Knowledge gives wisdom. You will be respected and admired wherever you go. Your eagerness and your passion to share the knowledge you've gained will demonstrate to others how to pursue their dreams and to create plans for their futures. You will be creative as you build self-confidence and help students grow with their own families and to gather and to build their abilities. Education for you is a lifelong process. It is an awesome responsibility. Continual upgrading, renewal, and refreshment will be expected and necessary to keep up with the new technologies and to tap into the latest trends. I was reading the Chronicle Herald one day last week, and I came across a full-page article on professional development of teachers. And even though I have teachers who are friends, I know how demanding your jobs are. I was still impressed as they spoke of the long hours, the personal time commitment required. It will be challenging. Dan Rather once said, "A dream begins with a teacher who believes in you, who tugs and pushes and leads you to the next plateau, sometimes poking you with a sharp stick of truth." As I sum up the similarities of the Sisters of Charity who had dreams, who worked hard, and no doubt prayed, were successful. the members of the Black Loyalist Heritage Society who dreamed and struggled and worked hard, and I know how hard they prayed, are seeing their dream of the new facility in Birchtown come to life. Your hard work and passion for teaching will help you pursue your dreams. So have faith as you go forward and always look positively toward the future. You too will continue to be successful. As I congratulate you on your choices and your successes, I leave you with another quote from an anonymous author. Remember that teaching creates all the other professions. So without further ado, I leave you to begin your celebrations, and I thank you for this opportunity to be with you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. We have a special treat today. You see, coming in here is the Trunk 7 Choir. I'm going to invite them to come up on stage. So this choir began actually as a graduate project in a course here at Mount St. Vincent University with the goal of performing rural and traditional music for the community of Eastern Shore. There are 15 very talented singers between the ages of 5 and 16 who are directed by Nick Pettipaw and Rick Smith. And they're also three of our graduates are parents of children in the choir today. And they've performed several times along the shore and have a very loyal fan base in the community. And they're going to sing Amazing Grace this morning. Please welcome them. Thank you very much. And someone's waving to her parent up there, I think. So I'd now like to invite Tracey Newman, who's the president of our Alumni Association, to give an address.
Madam Chancellor, Madam Board Chair, Madam President, distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, family, and friends. As Vice President of the Mount St. Vincent Alumni Association, I have the privilege of speaking with you for just a few minutes on this special occasion. Today is a day for you to celebrate your academic and personal success and to look forward to the future. I encourage you to enjoy every minute of it with pride. The time you have spent here at the Mount will influence how you think, how you work, and how you view the world for the rest of your lives. Your professors, your peers, and the greater Mount community have changed you in ways you may not even appreciate now, but it'll become more apparent to you over time that the Mount offers a unique and rich foundation for your future. Throughout your time at the Mount, your experience has been shaped in part by Mount alumni. As faculty, guest lecturers, co-op employers, university staff, mentors, sports fans, members of the Board of Governors, or in any number of other roles, you have felt the impact of the alumni that are staying connected with the Mount. I hope that when you leave here today, that you too will stay connected and offer your support to the future students of the Mount and to each other. As you are bestowed your degrees in just a few minutes, you will also receive a lapel pin bearing the coat of arms of the Mount from a member of the Alumni Association to mark your membership into the Alumni Association. You may ask, what does it mean to be a member of the Mount's Alumni Association? For 90 years, Mount St. Vincent alumni have been working together in association to support our alma mater, to support Mount students, and to stay connected with our school and to each other. In addition to supporting several academic scholarships, bursaries, and prizes, the association has supported and contributed to Project 2012 so that future students will be able to learn and research in a first-class academic facility. What started as a group of 50 women 90 years ago, the Alumni Association is now made up of 30,000 women and men who have come from all around the globe to study at the Mount and who are living and working all over the world. Over the past year, the MSVAA has donated $18,000 to student awards, prizes, and bursaries, and to the construction of the Margaret Norrie McCain Center for Teaching, Learning, and Research. As a Mount alum, I urge you to wear your alumni pin and your Mount ring proudly. Please support your alma mater however you can and keep us informed about your achievements and your accomplishments. Stay connected with Mount News through Foley, Montana, our alumni magazine, and our new quarterly digital updates starting in January. You can also follow the Alumni Association on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So on behalf of all the Mount alumni, congratulations on this significant milestone and welcome.
Thank you, Tracey. So now we've come to the moment that we've all gathered together for, is to see our students become our graduates. And I know many of you would like to take pictures of your family and friends, so please feel free to come down to the stage. We ask you not to come onto the stage, but when your person comes across stage, please come down to the stage if you wish. And I'd like to invite Dr. Sal Badali, our Dean of Education, to come forward.
Good morning, everyone. The Senate Awards of Distinction are engraved pewter medals awarded by the Senate of Mount St. Vincent University. The undergraduate awards are presented in recognition of superior academic achievement to the student who graduates with distinction in highest aggregate. The master's awards are presented upon recommendation of each program. These awards will be presented along with the parchments. Madame Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honors of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required course of study and ask that they be admitted to the baccalaureate degree. Madame Chancellor, I ask that you award the Bachelor of Education degree on Joshua Senman.
Joshua, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Bachelor of Education with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Madame Chancellor, it is my privilege to present to you the candidates for the Collegiate Honors of Graduation. I attest that they have successfully completed the required courses of study and ask that they be admitted to the master's degree. Madame Chancellor, I ask that you award the Master's degree of Education on Tanya Aiken.
Tanya, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto.
Heifa Ayala.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education and all the rights thereto.
Deborah Ash.
I admit you to the the Masters of Education and all the rights thereto.
Catherine Baldwin.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education and all the rights thereto. Congratulations.
Karen M. Banfield Hare.
Kara, I admit you to the Master of Education. That's it.
Scott Cecil Barter.
Scott, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. God bless.
Paolo Bartolocci.
Carlo, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. I keep saying that. Sorry about that.
Jill Suzanne Bennett.
Jill, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Thank you, thank you.
Arlene S. Benson.
Arlene, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jana E. Burton.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Rebecca Ann Bird.
Rebecca, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. God bless.
Jana Lee Blinkhorn.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Melissa Bond.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jennifer Bonner.
Another one with a fan club. Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Jean-Claude Boutreau.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. All the best.
Sharon L. Boyd.
Chair, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Tracey A. Bragg.
Tracey, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Sherry Lee Brine.
Sherry, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. All the best.
Shelley V. Brockerville-Tarrant.
Shelley, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Thanks. Congratulations, a lot of hard work, eh?
Kelly A. Brogan.
Kelly, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations, a lot of work, eh?
Natasha L. Camacho.
Natasha, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Deanne comes over that way, go over.
Kathleen M. Canning.
Kathleen, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on your hard work.
Breton Matthew Clark.
Greg, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work. Okay, that way.
James W. Conrad.
James, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. All the best.
Caitlin E. Conrad.
Caitlin, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Timothy Wallace Coombs.
Timothy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Hilary Cormier.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. All the hard work.
Dominica Cristiano.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Patricia Cuvalier.
Patricia, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Philip Daigle.
Philip, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Dominica Daly.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Mary DaCosta.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Jennifer Robin Gresham Deans.
Has a fan card. Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Elaine Dean White.
Elaine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Enrica Delamea.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. A lot of hard work, eh? Good.
Carol DeBar and Senate Medal of Distinction.
Carol, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on your hard work. A lot of work, eh?
Mallory Desser.
Mallory, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Stephen Andrew DeVoe.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
James Dexter.
You're happy. I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Marie Jean Doucette.
Marie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Rachel Elizabeth Dunn.
Rachel, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Leanne Shirley Earl McCarran.
Leanne, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Be happy.
Ida Evans.
I didn't catch your name. Ida, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. I was clapping too soon for you.
Deborah Fagan.
Deborah, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Long road. You did well.
Elizabeth Michelle Finnegan.
Elizabeth, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Wow. All the best.
Deanna Elizabeth Francis.
Deanna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. All the best now.
Jennifer Ann Fraser.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You too. Take care.
Crystal L. Fredericks.
Crystal, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Colleen Elizabeth Gainham.
Colleen, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. All the best.
Debbie Garley.
Debbie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Margaret M. Garnier.
Margaret, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Christy Gilbert.
Christy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You're happy.
Sheila M. Gould.
Sheila, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Denise M. Hansen.
Denise, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Joanne Joy Harnish.
The second one was Joy, right? Yeah. I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Susan Hartley.
Susan, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. A lot of hard work.
Megan Hatch.
Megan, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Yeah, you're happy, eh?
Suzanne Denise Height.
Suzanne, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Cynthia M. Hicks.
Cynthia, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Must be happy, aren't you?
Bernadette Claire Hingley.
Bernadette, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Kelly A. Hume.
Kelly, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Thank you. Congratulations. You're really happy, huh?
Jennifer J. Hunter.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Allison Page Hurley.
Allison, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. We're really happy you finished, huh?
Victoria Inedia.
Your fan club is here. Victoria, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. They must be so proud of you.
Katrina L. Johnston.
Katrina, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Wendy A. Jollimore.
Is it Wendy? Wendy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. People are taking my time to hear the names.
Amanda M. Keel McNeil.
Amanda, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. You must be so proud. I hope so.
Christy Lee Irma Keeping.
Christy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Be happy now.
Lindsay A. Kwan.
Lindsay, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be thrilled, are you? Yes. Bravo. Good for you.
Aaron C. Langell.
Karen, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Melissa Michelle Dawn LeBlanc.
Melissa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. I'm happy. Huh?
Lori J. Logue Store.
Laurie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations, Jeff. Really happy now, huh?
Rachel K. Lynch.
Rachel, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Troy C. MacArthur.
What's your first name? Troy. Troy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. When they clap too soon, I don't get the name.
Melissa A. McCauley.
Melissa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Charmaine McDonald.
You're happy. Charmaine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Mary A. McDonald.
Is it Mary? Mary, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. And I clap too soon, I don't hear the names.
Nicholas D. McDonald.
Nicholas, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work. Good to be finished.
Shoshana McKinnon.
Say your name. I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Susanna Catherine McKinnon.
Suzanne, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be thrilled to be finished your work now.
Steve McClellan.
Steve, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Margaret Lillian Joan McCrae.
Margaret, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. We're really happy. It's nice.
Kara Nicole Marsden.
Is your name Karen? Kara. Kara, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on your hard work.
Audrey Marshall.
Audrey, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. You must be so proud. Are you?
Yes.
Is your family here?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Janine Marshall.
Good to go. Get in. Janine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You related to her? No. Okay. All the best. You can go there.
Amy McCarran.
Amy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education.
Laura McCullough.
Laura? What's your name, Laura? Laura, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. I'm going to clap too soon. I don't know who they said. All the best.
R. Chris McInnes.
You're a happy man. I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Daisy R. Mead.
Daisy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Lori Mickelson.
Laurie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Christina L. Mills.
Christina, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You're thrilled? It's over, huh?
Theo E. Mitchell.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. I think they were admitting you earlier.
Matthew Douglas Moriarty.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be thrilled. Are you? You finished? Okay. Very good.
Jennifer Moland.
Jennifer, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Walter R. Moyce.
This is why they have a pre-do. I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be thrilled, are you? Good.
Karen Lynn Medowney Duran.
Karen, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You're good and happy.
John V. Monroe.
John, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Crystal R. Monroe.
Crystal, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Tricia L. Monroe, and Senate Medal of Distinction.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. It's distinction, right? Okay, enjoy.
Giovanna Mascalara.
Giovanna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. A lot of work, eh?
Donna Nelson.
Donna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Mary Teresa Nasura.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work. You must be really happy. Okay.
Susan M. Oliver.
Susan, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. That's it.
Monique Andre Ouellette.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. You're happy? Finished your work? Good.
Kelly Park.
Kelly, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Catherine Parrott.
Catherine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Lori Penny.
Laurie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Maria Piori.
Maria, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations, Maria.
Nick Pettipaw.
Nick, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Thank you for everything.
Ruth E. Power Blackmore.
Ruth, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Charlene Mary Ellen Power.
That's okay. Charlene, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Give them a big wave.
Floyd E. Priddle.
Floyd, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be happy. Okay.
Donna E. Reddick.
Donna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be really happy. Proud, too. You should be.
Tammy L. Reeves.
Tammy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Albert Ricci.
Albert, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Rebecca Kathleen Richardson.
Rebecca, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Laura Marie Roberts.
What's your first name? Laura, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. When we clap too soon, I don't hear the name. All the best.
Timothy S. Robertson.
Timothy, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be happy. Once you finish. Great.
Ben Robichaud.
I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Jody D. Robinson.
Jody, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Miranda Robinson.
Miranda, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. I'm happy we finished.
Denise Sakalauskas.
Denise, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Aaron Sampson.
Kara, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Karen B. Sawyer.
Is it Karen? Karen, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. I must be happy to be back.
Dega Sharif.
Your whole family's here? I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You've done a good job.
Freni Siganporia.
Great. I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. You must be really happy. Good.
Janice L. Smith.
You are a happy lady. Janice, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Richard Smith.
The guitarist. Richard, I grant you the degree of Master of Education. Thanks, and thanks for the music. Okay.
Terry Lynn Sweet.
Terry Lynn, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Good.
Melissa Tansley.
Melissa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Michelle Faye Taylor.
Michelle, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Danielle Thompson.
Hi. Danielle, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Do you need a doula?
David Tyler Thorne.
David, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations, David.
Matthew Tucker.
Matthew, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations, Matthew.
Heather Von Kinsel.
Heather, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Constance Walsh.
Yay! We'll wait for that to die down. That's so cute.
You won't be able to talk about.
Constance, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Catherine Warner.
Catherine. I wasn't sure with all the clapping. Catherine, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Thank you.
Cheryl A. Waterfield.
Cheryl, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Pearl West.
Pearl, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Stephanie Lorraine Wolf.
Stephanie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations. Must be thrilled.
Stephanie Georgina Wild.
Stephanie, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Maria Young.
Maria, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations on all your hard work.
Julie M. Zink.
Julianne, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. Congratulations.
Shauna Zink.
Hi. Is it Shauna? Shauna, I admit you to the degree of Master of Education. I told you I need help. So you guys have to do it.
Madam Chancellor, I ask that you award the degree of Master of Arts in Education on Mohammed Karbak and Medal of Distinction, and Senate Medal of Distinction.
Oh, this is a long one. Mohammed, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Education, right? With all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. And congratulations on your other honor. Is that what I'm on?
Lisa C. McDonald and Senate Medal of Distinction.
Lisa, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in Education. Congratulations on your other honor as well. Okay.
Madam Chancellor, I ask that you award the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology on Kaylin Maria Jones and Senate Medal of Distinction.
Kaylin Maria, on behalf of the Synod of Mount St. Vincent University, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology, with all the rights and privileges pertaining to thereto. Congratulations, that's a mouthful, huh? And on your Synod Award, too. Mm-hmm.
Michelle Kerr.
Okay. Michelle, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology. Congratulations. I didn't need to say all the words.
Brittany Nicole Morrison.
Brittany, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology. Congratulations. That's a lot of hard work, isn't it? Yeah.
Ashton Danielle Parker.
What's your first name? Ashton. Ashton, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts in School Psychology.
Alicia Warner.
Alicia, I admit you to the degree of Masters of Art in School Psychology. Congratulations. A lot of hard work to get that.
And please join me in congratulating, these are our Masters of Education graduates. Madam Chancellor, in absentia, I ask that you confer the appropriate degrees on all those presented to the University Senate.
I admit all of those in absentia to the degree. Okay. Thanks for the help.
The Graduate Thesis Award was established in 2003 to be awarded annually at the Fall Convocation. Students who graduate in the spring and fall ceremonies are eligible for this award. It's awarded to a student who has completed a thesis that is of exceptional quality, includes evidence of well-developed independent research skills, and makes a contribution to their academic discipline. The 2014 Graduate Thesis Award is presented to Kwesi Firmapong, Master of Arts in Education in Graduate Studies and Lifelong Learning, with a focus on Afrocentric research and policy. I'm not sure if he is with us today. I believe not, but I would like to tell you that he receives this award for a thesis that was entitled "The Panthers Are Coming: Analyzing the Impact of the Black Panthers' 1968 Visit to African Nova Scotian Activism for Social Justice and Equality." Please join me in congratulating him on this award. The Kappa Gamma Pi Award. Membership in Kappa Gamma Pi, Honor Society of Catholic Universities, is awarded to graduates who, in addition to high scholastic standing and a good record in extracurricular activities, gives promise to academic leadership in the future. Our Graduate Kappa Gamma Pi Award goes to Margaret Gagne, Master of Education and Lifelong Learning. I invite Margaret to the stage. Margaret was nominated for this award for the contribution she made to the Faculty of Education and the community. Margaret was actively engaged student in her program, and she envisioned building a stronger sense of community within the program. Working with the program coordinator, she helped arrange 3 different events: a fall meet and greet, a World Cafe event, and a year-end celebration, all to foster a community of scholars. Margaret also balanced her work and school lives and continues to volunteer and participate in the Run for the Cure, the Walk for ALS, and assists in community soup kitchens. We congratulate Margaret today for receiving this award and know that as she moves forward as an alumni, she will continue to contribute to the community of scholars that she so well developed herself. Congratulations, Margaret. The Valedictorian Prize provides all valedictorians with a lasting memento of their achievement and contribution to the graduating class. To be chosen valedictorian, the student must have maintained a strong academic record, must have been actively involved in a number of extracurricular activities either on campus or in the community, must have been nominated as a fitting spokesperson for the graduating class by their peers and or their faculty. I'm pleased to present the Valedictorian Award to Janine Marshall, who I invite to the stage. Janine graduates today with a Master of Education in Curriculum Studies, supporting learners with diverse needs and exceptionalities. In her nomination, her faculty nominator wrote that Janine is a wife, a mother, an advocate, a former classroom teacher, a student services consultant for Mi'kmaq Kinamataway, and a proud member of the Eskasoni First Nations community. Throughout her busy work and home life, she's managed to maintain an excellent academic record. One of Janine's driving forces is her son. Janine wants to share with others what her son teaches her about living with autism. She hopes to bring awareness and resources to the community, and through her leadership, they can all contribute and support the challenging needs of the children in her community. Congratulations, Janine, on being selected valedictorian. I now invite you to the podium to deliver your address.
Gwe, Willia Sitbug, Wildasium Sidwen Bijidayo Giskuk. Good morning, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, Madam Board Chair, honorary degree recipient, distinguished guests, family, friends, and especially my fellow graduates. My name is Janine Marshall, and I have been selected as your 2014 Fall Convocation valedictorian. First, I think it's important to take a moment and let this all sink in. And since I'm terrible at selfies, I'm going to grab a picture of the graduating class. So this is what it feels like to be on campus. Until this day, all of my coursework has been completed in the comfort of Unama'ki or Cape Breton. Even in Cape Breton, our cohort was taken under the watchful wings of the Mount's extended family. It was there we have come to know the kindness and passion of this most dedicated faculty. I must admit, as I sat in front of the computer to prepare this valedictorian speech for you all today, I was at a loss for words or inspiration, or so I thought. I could feel that old trepidation seeping in and clouding my vision and voice. I stopped and took a breath and began to reflect upon the guiding voices in my life path thus far. For those of you whom are graduating today from education, I know you must be weary of that word, reflect. I get it. However, what I've come to learn through my educational journey is that taking the time to look back how far you've come and reveling in the journey makes all the difference. When I began my post-secondary journey 18 years ago, I was guided by the words of my fellow New Englander, Robert Frost. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Being a New Englander, these words rang true as I returned to my ancestral territory of Mi'kma'ki. Over the past 18 years, I have truly been blessed with many gifts. First and foremost, to have come from a strong line of women who have grounded me in 2 cultures that I come from, Italian and Mi'kmaq. This richness in cultures has become embedded into my makeup and guides me through my life and work. As a teacher of over 10 years in literacy and First Nations schools, I have been guided by the words of wisdom of the late, great Dr. Maya Angelou. Let nothing dim the light that shines from within. Being a teacher today is indeed challenging, yet most rewarding. Choosing to see the light within a child shifts your perception and delivery of the curriculum and allows you to celebrate each student's successes. This powerful journey that all of you graduates have been on to reach this stage today is indeed a story worth telling. But no matter what social media that exists, such as Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, the list seems endless. It is the relationships that you have made here at the Mount that will remain steadfast and true. Social media is a modern vessel to get the message to our loved ones just a little quicker, and at times in a fun and interactive way. However, take a moment to savor this journey. You did it. Job well done. Look around and connect with a person who made this journey that much more special. And most importantly, take a moment, graduates, to send them the love that they've shown you. For me, I would not be standing here today without the love and support of my husband, Tex, my member 2 cohort group, my family, my friends, our boys, Jordy, Lennox, and especially our son, Colton, who has taught me that despite autism, learning is a lifelong process, and the possibilities are indeed endless. I would also not be standing here today without the wise words of a woman who told me, "You should be a teacher." That woman was the late, great Dr. Rita Joe. Her wisdom has allowed me to take that different path, and it has indeed made all the difference. Finally, I think it is important to take a moment to thank the faculty here at the Mount. Without your guidance, I would not have found the poise and confidence to continue to promote inclusion and social justice in Mi'kmaq education. For all of you graduates sitting here today, about to embark on the next chapter of your lives, you indeed need to be mindful to listen and continue to learn from others. In Rita Joe's poem, I Lost My Talk, she reminds us of this invaluable lesson when she states, "Two ways I talk, both ways I say. Your way is more powerful. So I gently offer my hand and ask, let me find my talk so that I can teach you about others." In closing, I challenge my fellow graduates to go forward into the world, wherever that road may take you. Choose the road less traveled. Be a voice of kindness, respect, generosity, humility, honesty, empathy, and be the change. Congratulations to you all. Walalio. Thank you all.
Following the convocation ceremony, graduates and guests are invited to a reception on the first floor lobby of the Seton Academic Center. That's the lobby where we are now. The convocation is now closed.
Thank you very much. In 1 minute, I'm just going to ask everyone to stand for our national anthem. But before I do, I just want to mention that a number of people across Canada have joined in a campaign it's called Sing All of Us. And it's a campaign to take the words of O Canada back to the original words in 1908, which included both gender. So if you wish, when we're singing O Canada, instead of singing All Our Sons, you may want to sing All of Us. So please stand for our national anthem.